Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. We're going to talk about Diablo 2 Resurrected and the allegation that Diablo 2 Resurrected has been censored by Blizzard. This doesn't surprise anyone who's been following the gaming industry, following companies like Blizzard, Activision. Yeah, they totally would censor an old game for sure. Very interesting situation. We're going to see a lot of this, I think, going forward. Old games are going to be problematic, and there's going to be discussions had about whether or not we can still have boobs in games. Are we allowed to have boobs in games anymore? I don't know. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 185,000 subs. Thank you for the support. We do talk about the gaming industry, talk about pretty much whatever interests us that day, whether it's movies or comics or animation or anime. We talk a lot about censorship in video games, and that the gaming industry has been, it's become more puritanical in the last couple of years, for sure. You know, we used to have lots of gore, lots of boobs. Anything went in gaming, especially games targeted at teens and adults, and that is not really the case now. A lot of developers are toning down that kind of content in their games. They're going back and editing older games or sequels. They're, especially when it comes to attractive women, we have to make them as unattractive as possible. So, everyday women who play these games, I guess, feel better about themselves. I don't know. I have no idea why they're doing it, but we're going to talk about that. So this is coming from D-Rezzed, D-Rezzed.com. That is our attempt at starting to build a new unbiased pop culture blog that covers gaming. And this is coming from JV Waldrop. Check it out on the site. I'm going to put a link in the comments, but Diablo 2 Resurrected censored by Blizzard. He says, going back in time with Blizzard and revisiting their now classic games, one is quickly reminded how gritty and harsh some of the graphics were. They seem cartoony today, but much of the older art was decidedly adult without straying into explicit territory. That's true. Go back and play Diablo 1, Diablo 2. Diablo 2 was a fixture of our LAN parties back in the day. And it was pretty dark. It was pretty gritty. I think I actually had to turn the brightness up on my monitor sometimes to be able to see what was going on. One of the complaints for modern Blizzard is that many of their modern games, or perhaps all of them, have moved away from that early style into a more Pixar-esque, family-friendly vibe. That is true. So look at Overwatch. Overwatch is very cartoony. So now Blizzard is supposedly retroactively going back and censoring Diablo 2 in their Resurrected remaster, according to sources, and confirmed by Blizzard developer legend Mark Kern. The Amazon character from Diablo is being censored so as to not be sexualized. She's too sexy. This is coming from Grums. Mark Kern on Twitter. And we're going to talk about this because he goes into this. I just want to point this out. He goes into his take on what's going on with Diablo 2. We have a random anime avatar on Twitter going, "Hey, what's stopping you from not buying the remake and just playing the original? Or just your penis," not realizing that he actually worked on the game. Because Twitter's stupid. Twitter is a very dumb place full of dumb people. But Mark Kern is actually pretty smart. So we're gonna read what he has to say. Diablo 2 Resurrected is censored, which is ridiculous. D2 was always about being adult, edgy, dark, and yes, even a little bit sexualized. Well, I mean, look, the fantasy genre, especially coming out of D&D, was sexualized. You had artwork by Boris, etc. They had Julie Bell. They had, sexy fantasy characters, and that inspired a lot of the PC and video game RPGs. But of course, we're not allowed to be sexy in D&D anymore either. And also orcs are people too. It's a raw fantasy setting, gothic and extreme. The changes to make a different game. Stop buying AAA endless remakes and go indie. I agree with that. They're basically, just milking franchises created by better developers. It's like, God, Sony is remastering. Oh, I'm sorry, not remastering, remaking. They already remastered it. They're remaking The Last of Us already. And it hasn't even been out for a decade. And the graphics on the original PS3 version actually hold up pretty well. But they got to remake it because they can't think of anything else. The Amazon was always revealing. In fact, we fought hard to keep it that way as part of them. And there was some push to change it even back then. So we're talking back in the 90s. Sucks to see something we fought for get erased in a soulless corporate remaster. Meanwhile, the original project lead on Diablo 2, as well as the creator of the entire franchise, David Brevik, has yet to weigh in on the subject. Well, he probably knows better. Don't open your mouth on Twitter. Things are not going to end well. Up until this time, he's been very positive about the remaster, so it'll be interesting to see how he opines. I don't know if I feel validated over anything. He says, I do feel proud over the Blizzard North team. The fact that Blizzard is updating Diablo 2 and not making gameplay changes is quite an honor for a 20-plus-year-old game. It's amazing how warm the reception from the community has been. JV goes on to say, one of the tragedies of the modern world is that we are sanitizing art at breakneck speeds. Yeah, that's true. It's very true. It's ridiculous what they're choosing to censor. And he goes on about, everything going on in China right now and all that. But what we're choosing to censor is odd. It really is. It's very selective. And basically it comes down to attractive people, people of certain ethnicities. We can't have that anymore because they're, it's too white, and again, I understand if you're dealing with a new franchise, you can make whatever kind of characters you want to, but when you're dealing with existing IP, people have certain expectations. They want the characters to be themselves. They want it to be a better version of what they remember. And that doesn't always happen, regardless if it's a video game or an anime or comics or whatever it is. But this is hilarious. This person's like, oh my God, your penis is in the way. Holy F-bomb. This would be an incredibly stupid take, even if you hadn't directed it toward one of the original creators. OP, lamenting the artistic vision he expressed in making the original thing being altered in the remake of the thing he made. And you mad because PP not go up? You mad because PP not go up? How are you even saying this with an anime profile pic? Western companies salivate hoping to make these exact same changes to media they import. LMAO, sanitizing art is a curse on culture and society. These sex-negative folks plague the actual art. Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird to see what they choose to censor. And it's, again, it usually comes down to attractive people being censored. Now, if you had, I'm going to say it, if you had a comic book full of relatively unattractive people engaging in those kinds of acts, but they were the right kind of people, they were diverse peoples, engaging in those kinds of acts, it would be lauded, but you have some hot chicks, cheerleader looking chicks with bows, and everybody loses their freaking minds. It's a small subset of anime viewers that want the West to sanitize the works they bring over. Yeah, this is happening in anime too. Obviously, we talk about that happening in games. It's already blown through tabletop. Dungeons and Dragons. Again, we used to have sexier characters. We used to have, heroes and, scantily clad women, and now we can't even have freaking orcs. You can't even have freaking orcs that are bad because it might offend somebody because they think the orcs represent minorities. And if you think that way, you might actually be a racist. It's crazy. But I wouldn't expect anything less from Blizzard. To be honest, I'm surprised they didn't go all in and just completely change the gameplay and everything. So I don't know. I was going to check it out. I don't know if I'm going to. I don't know. I got to think about it. I loved Diablo 2 back in the day, though. I did. God, we played so much Diablo 2. Diablo 2 and Ultima Online. That's how old I am. Diablo 2 and Ultima Online sucked up most of my free time back in the day. But I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Go out to D-Rezzed.com and check out more pop culture news from a relatively unbiased source. Talk to you later.